Some other people might feel that a person's ability to plead and to state and to argue and challenge and prove their innocence is more important than having a low crime rate. Singapore's system is understandably set up to give us a safer community to live in. And they call this a crime control model. And what this really means is that why do I feel strongly about having criminal defense lawyers as much as it's important to have, good police officers and law enforcement, departments and officials and the authorities and also prosecutors? The reason is, in order to have an even and therefore a good match, both sides need to be of the same standard, because otherwise you will have a lopsided contest. And what that might result in is that over time, the result might not be as fair as it needs to be. The best outcome and the best matches usually involve both sides playing to a very high standard and level and quality. Some other people might feel that due process and a person's ability to plead and to state and to argue and challenge and prove their innocence is more important than having a low crime rate. So depending on which is your outcome, the rules would sometimes follow in order to help you achieve the outcome. Singapore's system is understandably set up to give us a safer community to live in. And they call this a crime control model. And what this really means is that the priority and the focus is on making sure that people are caught, put through the process, found guilty if there is enough evidence and reason to, discouraged from doing this again. And that keeps our community safe. Some other countries put more emphasis on something called due process, which is a person's right to plead for their innocence. And some people would say that nothing is more important than that. So in that environment, maybe you would have a bit more flexibility and rights in terms of allowing you to, for example, have a lawyer sit next to you during the police interview to tell you exactly what you should say or not say. A process where everything that the investigators managed to collect, you would also be able to take a look and have your own copy as well, so that you can study and then prepare how to challenge their case so that it's an even fight. In short, Singapore's system has crime control as an objective, and its rules are set up to achieve that. This doesn't mean that due process is not important. It just means that that's not the overall or overwhelmingly important outcome above crime control. And therefore, I imagine if one has to choose between rules that would favor or achieve one outcome more than the other, in our system, in our community, our decision makers, I think understandably choose one that will give us a safer place to live in. Other places have a bit more of a balance, or maybe even one that puts due process way above crime control. I've talked too much about this whole balance, and I'm not the authority on this, but it still interests me. And it not only interests me, but I think it worries me that people don't know enough about this. And I'm certainly not the best or only criminal lawyer out there, but I feel and I care very deeply about this subject, and I can only do as much as I can in my 12 to 24 hours a day, and that's what I try to do right now. I've been fortunate enough to do it for a number of years. I've been also very blessed to be able to do it with people that are equally well-intentioned and hardworking and have the same sense of calling and purpose. And I continue to enjoy doing it right now.